Hello guys, this is What If Deku was Iron Man. This took me a long time to make thumbnail. First time I made like those big thumbnail, I progressed in my thumbnail art and doing all the thumbnails. I would have problems because I was using the wrong app. Like the one that I was using was known as Canva. I used to use that to make my thumbnails, but now I'm using another one. The first one that I just made for What If Naruto was Steel Master and whatever. Yeah, I got some help to make it. Like he just tell me which one to pick and which one to do like that. And I'm really thankful. And I'm gonna put his channel in the description, in the link in description. Make sure you go sub to him. And this is What If What If Deku was Iron Man. And let's get started. Iron Man Comes Home. America by Howard Stark said throwing 7-year-old Tony Stark language onto the curb of the boarding school. Dad, Tony said, limp curing Mama. Don't be sad. We're old enough. We'll make this world a better place, Izuku said, but Tony didn't hear him like always. Line breaker. 12 years later. Mr. Stark, your parents have been shot. They died before the ambulance could even get here. I am sorry. The police officer said, no big deal. Parents die. There isn't any use crying over it, Tony said, shaking his head. A bank agent handed him a certificate with inheritance written at the top. Line break. 1 year later. I am Iron Man. Tony and Izuku said in Fusion. The crowd went basically as Tony struffed off. Linebreaker, 10 years later. I am Iron Man. A bloody and bruised Tony said, holding the 6th Infinity Stone before snapping his finger. I feel so bad. RP. Linebreaker. GYPSY, can't say that. Tent. Izuku opened his eyes and looked around frankly. Pepper? Izuku shouted, looking, where's my wife? They are in another world, my boy. The potion has granted you tools to make yourself a great hero. As you have already become in another reality. The GYPSY said, now become. Linebreaker. Random burger place. Izuku needed something to get his head straight. Fast food helped, sex helped more. But he should probably wait until he's 18 in a few months. Less awkward for him. After waffling down 4 burgers, the inventor had pulled out his notebook, the memory of the years with it floating back. He opened it to a blank page and wrote the heroes from Tony's universe. Even Tony Stark and Spider-Man. Izuku looked at the page with his other life and pulled out blank red note. The Extremis Nanotech PYM Particles Arc Reactor Badasim. Izuku thought as he wrote down the formulas. Izuku walked out of the restaurants with plans to rebuild, shining middle finger to every shit he had put up with in both universes, telling him he'd never be anything but a menace to society. He a menace to society. Y'all get it? Okay, you don't. You probably don't. Chapter 2. Picking up the pieces. Izuku had returned home and was met by a pudgy, yet adorable woman. That was Inko Midoriya. Izuku gave her a hug, but I definitely felt a type of way about having a mother again. Brainwash power isn't gonna kill me. Izuku headed to his room and pulled out pieces to build the shell of the Mark I arc reactor. So guys, I'm gonna go and get something because I just found a new what if that I can do. I just thought about it and I don't want to forget it. So I'm gonna write it down and so y'all just want to skip a little bit like places until you hear me do a what if. You hear me say continue. Okay, guys, I am back and I just found about 6 or 7 what ifs that I'll do. It's about Deku and I can try and give y'all, and then y'all can say which one y'all want me to do first. So I might do Spider Deku, where Izuku X Gwen. I just thought about that a little bit. I just keep on thinking. My brain just comes up with stuff once I'm doing what ifs. Or Izuku as a Monkey King. I saw that when I was watching it, when I was in YouTube just scrolling around. I don't know. And the artificial hero, we can do that. We can do that. I found out what tab that one. And Izuku Lucifer, Morningstar, that one too. And Dark Hero and Izuku Heriter of the Nine Realms. I found them both on Wattpad. But the Izuku Monkey King, whatever. Now let's continue. Let's continue. Izuku gave her a hug, but it definitely felt some type of way about having a mother again. A brainwashed power isn't gonna kill this one. Izuku headed to his room and pulled out the piece to build the shell of the Mark I arc reactor. Mom, can I use the credit card? I need to order something around 6,000, but I'll pay you back in a few days. Izuku asked. Of course, sweetie. I mean, 6,000 pounds, yen. I don't know what Japan's currency is. It's probably yen. And oh, I thought it was pounds. Sorry. But if it is, sorry for my mistake. 1 week later, Inko nearly had a heart attack after she received a letter from electric company telling her 1 million. No, 1 million, yeah. Yen and 15,000 yen has been transferred to her account for her solar panels. There has to be a mistake. Inko grabbed her cell phone. What's a mistake? Izuku said. Why is 1,642,724 and 86 yen in my account? Put into my account. We don't even have a solar panels. Inko asked. Come, check it out. Izuku said, leading her to a fuse box in the basement. An extra metal shell was added next to it wired into it. Izuku opened the box and glowing circle was what in the center is an arc fusion reactor. It's got enough power to run 75 ounces for a year. If I scale it up, a single plant could power the whole country. Inko just stood there speechless. How much did it cost? Not that much, Izuku said. Probably cost billions of dollars. 2 weeks later, Inko had noticed her son was acting different for the past 3 weeks. He had started exercising and tinkering with machines. She walked into the garage to tell him dinner was ready and saw a hammer hot piece of metal. The pieces around him looking like armor. Almost done, he shouted over the sound of rock music. Inko sat down from her son eating. Inko was wondering what caused her son to change. She knew he was planning on getting into UA. Izuku? Yes, Mom. Inko was quiet. Izuku just looked at her, waiting. What are you building? A suit, Izuku said. And this suit can measure to other of more able people. What? I don't know what he was trying to say, but I just read it how it's supposed to be read. I'm sure, Izuku said, and this is a fanfic from Iron Man Izuku by Anime Eagle Scout. Shout out to him, and let's continue. I am sure, Izuku said. You know how strong quirks can be. I know. Inko frowned, both eating in relative silence. Next week, Izuku had built a new suit without the money to build a full armor suit. He had to think smaller, using a microwave inner layer to house the Circus and the Jarvis 2.0 beta. The armored plate could attach separately, and the entire suit could add pieces gradually if he wanted to build the nanoparticles. He'd need enough power first, and a particle accelerator wasn't something he should be building in his backyard yet. Izuku had looked into getting necessary pieces to create the extremis serum. He was kicking himself for not using it at his rematch against Thanos. I am Iron Man. Izuku answered his phone and heard the news. His mother was in the hospital that night. Izuku marched into the hospital with the extremis 2 virus in a metal case. Inko Midoriya, he slammed the hand on the counter. Room B5. She's not awake. Izuku entered the room and saw his mother benched up and unconscious on the bed. After reading the report, Izuku blew his nose on paper. Possible indefinite coma, my ass. Izuku premiered the injection and shot the vial of extremis into his mother's leg. Her body began coughing up black sludge and covering her in a cocoon of scabs. I already lost Maria Stark. You're not dying on me, damn it. Izuku thought before walking out of the room just as the machine went off. What's going on? Is that her quirk? I don't know. Izuku returned home and began looking over the news for whose skull he was going to cave in for this. Mitsuki, when she walked into home of her friend, she didn't expect the armored turret pointed at her. State your attentions. I'm here to check on my godson, Izuku. Mitsuki shouted. Mr. Midori isn't home at the moment. If you want, I may leave a message. I'll call the brat myself, Mitsuki said, backing away from the gun. Auntie Mitsuki. A voice answered the phone. The rush of wind in the background. Kid, I came over to your house. How are you doing? I'm your godmother, Mitsuki. Where are you? It's 8 in the morning. I'm jogging. Can you call off this gun turret? Oh yeah, Jarvis C. Clearance enabled to Mitsuki Bakugo. Yes, sir. Welcome, Miss Bakugo. Mitsuki walked in and began checking the kitchen. How long is you gonna be out? I should be home soon later. Izuku hang up. I know y'all think that's normal, but I don't know. Inko told him. Oh well. Meanwhile, the Armor Avenger was busy avenging the bastard who ran over his mother. Was found beaten and limbless, hanged by his balls in a city park, living and breathing. I can't believe I just said that. I literally can't believe I just said that. Oh well. Follow the traffic rules, the module voice said before flying off. Izuku landed in the backyard and unloaded his suit into the shed, changing into his exercising clothes. Hey, Auntie, Izuku said, walking in. How you holding up, Runt? She asked, petting his hair. I'm fine. Mitsuki put 2 plates of breakfast on the counters and Izuku ate. So you enjoying your breakfast? Yeah, Izuku said. You ready for the last year of high school? Totally, Izuku said, smirking behind his breakfast with a happy smile. So chasing any skirt? Mitsuki said. Not yet. What's your plan after? UA, then Hero, Izuku said. Mitsuki snickered and said, You sure got balls, kid. Damn straight, Izuku said. Well, since you got it handled there, later, runt. Call if you need anything, Mitsuki said. 3 days later, Inko had regained consciousness to find herself in some kind of cocoon of black scabs. Looking around, she found a call button, and she pressed it, and her hand started burning. This feeling was minimal, but the button started to melt. The doctor rushed in to check her over. What happened to me? Inko said. You were hit and run incident. It's a miracle somehow you're not dead. Doctor said your body seemed to be accelerating its own healing. Inko looked at herself and tested her hand, the glowing of heat showing as if her blood was on fire. How is this happening? It could have been a latent quirk, the court doctor said. We'd like to run some tests. Izuku, the Iron Avenger, was working on the Extremis 3.0. Since he can't manufacture the nanoparticles of the bleeding edge, he could use the human cells produce the undersheath from the port in his skin. If you don't get what I'm talking about, I don't get what I'm talking about. Yo, like this, I don't get what I'm talking about. But Extremis 2.0 was a perfect version of Hammer Tech's Extremis, all the powers, none of the potential explosion 3.0 would focus on the mental abilities, turning his brain into a computer. Lamination neurons to prevent Alzheimer. Sorry, I can't say that. Overclocking his thoughts and giving him great ability to multitask. The most important part would allow him to interfere with technology with his mind, turning him into a technopath. It was the cheapest option if he was going to get anywhere near home. How far his tech could in his other life. 10,000 US dollars was cheap than multi-billion-dollar suit. The front door opened and walked in Inko.